Good morning, everyone. I'm Megshi Thakur, and the topic of my presentation and also my research project is examining obesity rate, limited access to healthy food, and access to exercise opportunities in Illinois. I will be presenting a detailed analysis of relationship between these three in Illinois County. In this research, we will explore how these factors contribute to public health disparities across the state of Illinois. So let's dive deep into the background study. So, obesity is a major public health concern that is linked to several chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. It's a growing epidemic not only in US but across the globe. According to Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is CDC, obesity is largely influenced by social determinants of health, such as access to healthy foods, and physical activity opportunities. So for the purpose of this research, we are focusing on Illinois, which has a diverse range of urban and rural counties. We are looking into how limited access to healthy foods and exercise opportunities affect obesity rate in these areas, which correlation and what correlation might exist. So in our research, it our research is driven by a hypothesis that counties with lower access to healthy foods and exercise opportunities will have higher obesity rate. Moving on to the next slide. So the center problem we are addressing is relationship between obesity, food access, and exercise opportunities in Illinois counties. This is important because disparities in food and exercise access can lead to significant public health issues such as increased obesity rate. As I said, our hypothesis is that counties with lower access to healthy foods and exercise opportunity will tend to have higher obesity rate. We aim to explore whether these factors are influencing the overall health of communities and to what extent they might contribute to chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. So let's take a look at the data and its definitions. So we are using three main metrics in our research. Number one is the obesity rate, which is the percentage of adult aged 18 plus who have a BMI of 30 or higher. So it's one of the primary measures of obesity in public health. The second one is limited access to healthy food. This metric measures the percentage of population that lives more than 1 mile in urban areas or 10 miles in rural areas from nearest supermarket or grocery stores with healthy food option. The third one is access to exercise opportunities. This measures the percentage of population with access to exercise resources like gym, parks, fitness centers. Access to these exercise opportunities is vital for maintaining a healthy weight and preventing obesity. Let's move on to our results. So moving on to the analysis, we perform descriptive analysis on each of these three metrics. For obesity rate, the mean percentage of adults with obesity across Illinois County was 30% and a standard deviation of 5%. For limited access to healthy foods, the mean was 12% and a standard deviation of 3%. Lastly, the access to exercise opportunities, we found that the mean was 70% and a standard deviation of 8%. So these statistics show variables across Illinois, with some counties have significantly more access to healthier food options and exercise opportunities, and others are struggling with greater food access issues. So moving on to our visual description here, the first visual that I created is a bar graph. It shows the correlation between obesity rate and access to exercise opportunities. You will notice that counties with low access to exercise opportunities tend to have higher obesity rate. This visual reinforces the idea that access to exercise is crucial in preventing obesity, and counties with fewer exercise resources have a higher burden of obesity. And Then, for example, in this, the second visual that I created is the scatter plot. So in this one, we will look at the obesity rate versus limited access to healthy foods. As I said earlier, in this scatter plot, you will see that most of the county are struggling for the access to the healthy food. This scatter plot demonstrate a positive correlation between high obesity rate and areas with limited access to healthy foods. This suggests that communities with lower access to nutrition food may have higher obesity rate. Moving on to the conclusion. So from our analysis, we can say that obesity rate are significantly higher in the counties with limited access to healthy foods and exercise opportunities, and counties with lower access to healthy foods tend to have higher obesity rate. This highlights the importance of food accessibility in addressing obesity issue. Similarly, counties with limited exercise facilities shows higher rate of obesity, indicating that exercise opportunities are an essential factor in combating obesity. These findings suggest a need for public health policies aimed at improving food access and providing more exercise opportunities to reduce obesity rate. Moving on to our final slide here, the suggestion for further review. So while we have established a significant relation between food access, exercise opportunities, and obesity, there are still areas that need further exploration. Income and education. It would be valuable to investigate how income levels and educational attainments affect these findings. Lower income communities often experience greater barriers to access healthy foods and exercise resources, which could explain some of the obesity trends. The second one is urban versus rural disparities. A more detailed analysis comparing urban and rural area would be insightful. Urban areas tend to have a better access to resources, but rural areas often face more significant barrier in terms of both food access and exercise opportunities. The third one, and I would say the most important one, is the behavioral health factor. Another factor which plays important role, according to me, is behavioral health, and it influences obesity. Mental health issues like depression or stress could contribute to obesity, particularly in areas with limited access to resources. I believe further research could build on these findings to further address public health inequalities in Illinois and beyond. So that concludes the summary of our finding. To wrap up, I would say obesity rate in Illinois are strongly influenced by access to healthy foods and exercise opportunities, which are critical social determinants of health. By addressing this issue, we can help improve public health and reduce the prevalence of obesity and its associated health risk in Illinois. So thank you so much for your attention, everyone, and I'm happy to take any questions that you have in the comments below. Thank you.